I fear my mama will be angry.
So hello everybody, welcome to the Red Clay Music Foundry. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. We really appreciate you being here. I hope you've enjoyed the pregame show. I think Corey had us loaded up with every boy that ever played for Celtic Thunder, and Chloe from Celtic Woman, and all those Celtic. So happy St. Paddy's Day yesterday. I hope you had a good one. I hope you drank a lot of Irish whiskey and a lot of Guinness, and that your hangover is going to be fixed tonight because you're going to go to the bar and take care of it. And that's exactly what you should do. Uber and Lyft will pick you up right at our front door. We do encourage drinking. So, plus, you know, never tell an artist this, but the music always sounds so much better when you're drinking. So don't tell them that, though, and don't ever tell an artist that, but it's really true. All right, so it's also an appropriate time for me to say hello to you folks watching the live stream at EOP Live on YouTube. We're very happy to have you. If you'll notice in your chat box, there's a blue bar at the top, and that is the tip jar. If you just click on that, it'll take you right to where you can give these wonderful folks on this stage a whole lot of money. And we're thanking you in advance for your generosity. I know you're going to empty your pockets this evening. So thank you. And you folks in the house, there will be a little intermission between Andy and the BlarneyGirls, so that way you can go to the bar and partake of all those things I just talked about. And there's also a wonderful display of Christmas gifts out there. And you can just go ahead and buy all their records and all the stuff that they have and load up, because Christmas will be here before you know it. And you're going to need those last-minute gifts. So please consider going to the merch table and just loading up this evening. That'd be wonderful. I've known Michael for about 1,000 years, and he introduced me to the BlarneyGirls after I came up here from Decatur, and I just love them. I love them to death. It's so much fun, and it's just the kind of music that gets you toe tapping, and it's really cool, and I like it, and I'm so glad they're here tonight, and we're glad that you're here to experience it too. And we both have a mutual friend, and his name is Andy Offutt Irwin. And Andy is a special individual. And I don't mean like special ed. I mean like special and extremely talented. And it's always a pleasure to have Andy here. And I want you to sound like you're about 1,000 people right now. And give a nice welcome to Andy Offutt Irwin.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. I'm going to begin with Homer's Odyssey. You can't hear me? Oh, Homer's Odyssey will be here till Tuesday. All right. Am I there?
No, you're not here.
I am just a rambling boy, Ithaca bound, making my way there from Troy, Alabama. Here's an adventure that I found. Is the Cyclops winking or blinking? I'll wait. That eyeball in his head. I listen for sounds of serenity with every word that he has said. I notice his squint, his mouth's murky slant. Can I see a friendly glint? No, I can't. And his complimentary mints are covered with ants. And the Cyclops winking or blinking. Oh, is the Cyclops winking or blinking? How can I read his mood? I wonder what he is thinking. I'm thinking he thinks of me as food. Compared to this giant, I'm a little shrimp. He's putting mascara on his one eye to primp. How can you tell if a snake has a limp? And the Cyclops winking or blinking. Oh, is the Cyclops winking or blinking? I just want to leave this cave. And from the way this cavern is stinking, I can tell Polyphemus don't never bathe. I'm wondering how this drama ends. This giant ain't getting no help from his friends, but he only pays half for his contact lens. Thanks. And the Cyclops winking or blinking. That is the end of the instrumental verse. It ain't really an instrument, but it could be worse. And if I don't whistle Shalom, the sound man will curse. I know. His Cyclops winking or blinking. Oh! That's my Irish tenor. I thought I had to do something Irish, and that's my Irish tenor. sound. First woo of the night. Thank you.
Whoa, is the Cyclops winking or blinking?
All alone, he feels bereft. And I saw him try to swat that fly. It's clear he cannot perceive depth. Pay attention, people. So I stabbed him in the eye. Yes, I know you. Sometimes you gotta try when there's nothing else to do. Now I've gotta ride out underneath this U. All right, let's, obviously a lot of people who really love classical Greek literature, ancient literature in the room. Okay, this is Homer's Odyssey, and this is Odysseus. He's on his journey. He's trying to make it back to Penelope, and he's got his fellow travelers, and he and the fellow travelers are traveling, and he looks around, and there are not as many travelers around. He doesn't know where they went, and then he smells something cooking. It's barbecue coming out of this cave. It smells like fresh barbecue in Jackson, Georgia, and he knows it's a good barbecue joint because it has no paved parking lot. Never get barbecue in a place where there's paved parking lot, in the tradition of my people. So he goes into the cave, and there's the giant, there's the Cyclops. His name is Polyphemus, which means, obviously, many Phemuses. I guess the plural would be femi. Anyway, and Polyphemus is, and the barbecue that he smells is his fellow travelers. Polyphemus is cooking those dudes. And Polyphemus, although he's just cooking these random people, he likes to know, he's like a lot of us, he wants to know his food sources. So Polyphemus said, you can look this up, this is actually how the story goes. Polyphemus looks at Odysseus and says, what's your name? And Odysseus is wise to him. He picks up a stick, he starts whittling. Nobody. What is your name? Nobody. What is your name? Nobody. And he takes that stick and stabs him in the eye. And nobody has stabbed me in the eye. Nobody has stabbed me in the eye. And all the other giants in the neighborhood going, nobody has stabbed Polyphemus in the eye. Nobody has stabbed Polyphemus in the eye. So I guess Polyphemus ain't stabbed in the eye. And in all of literature, the giants around Polyphemus are the first characters to ever say, duh. And Polyphemus, now he's trying to look for Odysseus, but of course he's blinded because he has that one eye that's gone, and he's so dumb that he ends his sentences with prepositions. So he's going, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? And Odysseus is riding under one of the sheep to hide from his hands, from Polyphemus's hands. And he's riding under a You is a sheep, a female. This is a Celtic audience, isn't it? He's no longer winking or blinking. Oh, he's no longer winking or blinking. Thank you. A lot of you don't know what I do or who I am, and that's great. I have an Aunt Marguerite who's 85 years old. Her name is Marguerite Van Camp, and she just graduated from medical school, 85 years old. Can you guys, isn't that amazing? The way she explains it is like this. My girlfriend, Mary Frances, and our husbands have passed on. And we were tired of the bridge club and the garden club. So we went back to medical school. I went to Emory. Y'all heard of Emory. Andy, you're home now. You don't have to explain what Emory is. That's good. Sometimes when I'm out in when Andy's out in other parts of the country, he has to explain Emory because there's no football team. But Mary Frances went to the Georgia College of Medicine in Augusta, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we opened up a hospital in Covington. It's an antebellum house, but it was abandoned for 10 years. So we got it cheap. It has 2 magnolia trees on the side, so we only have to paint the front. And our emergency lane there is a car portico. And when Gene Cannon retired from his Pure Oil station, we bought his air hose bell. Some of y'all too young to laugh at that because you don't know what I'm talking about. And that's our emergency lane. We serve 2 purposes in our community. We're hospice for people who won't admit it. and with the emergency room for the ashamed, like Ray McFarlane has the asthma. And he carries, asthma's funny, good. And he carries an albuterol inhaler in his pocket. And he was having an episode, and he reached in there and, but it had a Sucret lozenge in the barrel there. And it got caught in his esophagus. And it wasn't going to dissolve because it was still in the wrapper. And he was in a bad way. Ooh, he came through and kang, kang. Oh, we have an emergency. Let's go see who it is. And Ray was, ooh, and we rushed him in there. Now, Mary Frances, she went to the Georgia College of Medicine, and she practices holistic medicine. Things you might not read about in the physician's desk reference of the New England Journal. And she went into our kitchen, and she pulled out a bottle of her favorite hot sauce. It's called Scored Woman. And she poured it in a little pill cup. You know those little pill cups, like if you go to McDonald's to get ketchup, you know. Except this is a medical supply, so it's $40. And she said, drink this down. He was healed. Well, that's Marguerite and Mary Frances. Marguerite and Mary Frances were in the fellowship hall of the First Methodist Church, and they had gone to a wedding. It was Mary Frances's nephew's wedding. His name is Lewis. Lewis is the orderly at the hospital, which means he's the maintenance guy, but they did give him a lab coat with his name embroidered on it. But he's the kind of guy that when they got a new x-ray machine, he thought it was a floor waxer. And he's finally marrying Tiffany, and it's one of those weddings that if you get invited to, you should go to it. It's the kind of wedding where the daughter of the bride and groom is the flower girl. And her name is Purell, the little girl. It's old-fashioned, but it's clean. And Marguerite and Mary Frances are talking. And the wedding was officiated by the new associate minister at the First Methodist Church, and her name is E.E. Cummings. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Cummings, they're from Rutledge, Georgia, and they did the double Southern name. If you're not from the South, you know double Southern names. Her name is Elaine Elizabeth, named after her grandmother's, and she was always called Elaine Elizabeth. That's what. And then around high school, people started calling her E.E., and then by the time she got into college, she started signing her name all in lowercase. That's for the 4 poetry fans. And the audience, and they were impressed by E.E. Cummings. You know, they were impressed by her service. It was her first wedding. Didn't E.E. do a wonderful job at the service? She did. It was wonderful. The homily wasn't too long. It was in and out. It was perfect. Well, I'm so happy that she's part of our worship community. I'm worried about one thing though. That boyfriend of hers. You talking about Billy? Yes. You know they're going to get married. Well, I think it's wonderful that they get married. Well, you know what she's going to do? She's going to be one of them young preachers that hyphenates her name. Well, I think it's fine if they want to hyphenate their name. Well, you know what happens? Those people have children that marry other people who have hyphenated names, and then in 3 generations, you have a real expensive tombstone. Besides, E.E. Cummings, you know, his name is Billy Goins. Sometimes I know the punchline has to be passed around. And then Mary Frances said to Marguerite, you better watch out, here comes Sally Lynette. Sally Lynette she wants you to sign that petition to put the 10 Commandments up at the courthouse. Oh my heavens. And she is eating. What are you talking about? She's eating. That doesn't make any sense. Honey, I'm so glad you're in the front. Honey, what do you call it when you're inebriated from drinking? Drunk. What's the past participle of drink? Drunk. She's had 8 or 9 of Louise Cook's bourbon balls. She is eating. And it was true. Sally Lynette, total teetotaler, but she was inebriated from the bourbon balls. As she sees Marguerite, she's got a little mini clipboard, and she wants everybody to sign a petition to put the 10 Commandments. Y'all, it's been a pandemic. I'm out of practice. Sorry. 10 Commandments on the court. And she's like, Marguerite Sugar, Marguerite. Marguerite, I need to talk to you because I know you're a Christian woman. And I know you're going to sign our petition to have the 10 Commandments put up at the courthouse because you're a good Christian woman.
Marguerite said, honey, I'd rather have the 8 Beatitudes put up at the courthouse.
I've never heard of such a thing.
And ever since they were little girls, Marguerite was happy because her mission in life is to make Sally Lynette say, I've never heard of such a thing. Sally Lynette is one of those I've never heard of such a thing people. There may be 1 or 2 of those people here right now. Don't look at them.
Now, honey, you know, I want to come over tomorrow. Praise Jesus. I'm going to come over tomorrow and to help appraise your house before the appraiser comes because I know that you want to appraise your house in case anything unforeseen should transpire.
And it was true. When Marguerite's daughter lives in Massachusetts, and when Marguerite passes away, she's going to liquidate everything. Her house is going to be sold. She's going to send some charity to the United Methodist Women's Charities and that sort of thing, and Doctors Without Borders. Not to be confused with Doctors Without Boundaries. Totally different group. A little too timely. All right, keep going. And so that was going to happen. And
I know you want them. I'll be over tomorrow morning.
And Marguerite was going to do that. If anything unexpected should transpire, she said out loud,
I'm 85 years old. There's nothing unexpected.
Next morning, Mary Frances arrived in her pink Cadillac. She used to be in cosmetics. And you know, she doesn't have to be there. She just wants to look over the place before the county appraiser comes because she owes Marguerite and Mary Frances a favor because she indeed had her own emergency. One day she was on her way to sell a house. She was eating a Subway sandwich, driving with her knee, and she still has an old Nokia cell phone. And by the way, her hair is Clairol black velvet. It's been that ever since that first gray hair appeared when she was in her 30s. It's always been Clairol black velvet. And this kitty cat ran in front of the car and the cell phone got caught in her hair. Her ringtone was the Hustle. Remember those monotonic? So she made her way to Marguerite and Mary Frances's hospital. Clang, clang. Oh, we have an emergency.
Marguerite, you gotta help me get this cellular mobile phone out of my hair.
Well, honey, you don't need us. You need a beauty parlor.
Well, I'm in pain, and you took the Hippocratic oath. You can't tell us so.
Here comes Mary Frances with alternative cures. Pulls out her bandage scissors. There you go. Of course, Mary Frances, Sally Lynette was due for a dye job. You know, she looked like an explosion. She looked like Pepe Le Pew. So as a medical emergency, they rushed her in. They washed her hair. Marguerite went down to the drugstore and got some Clairol black velvet. They came back. They dyed it. And Mary Frances has never cut hair. She's having fun. Click, 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 click. All different kind of lengths, kind of short. But, you know, she's digging on it. And now it needs some product. You know, it needs something. Well, they do colonoscopies. They opened a drawer and pulled out that, that tube. It's the abbreviation for Kentucky. Worked that in and put her in front of the mirror.
I look 10 years younger.
And they charged her Blue Cross Blue Shield plenty for that medical procedure. Well, here he is. Here's Sally Lynette. As soon as she pulled out her other clipboard to start going through Marguerite's house, in came Steve. Now, Marguerite's having a new roof put on her house. Not because to add value to the house, it's just a 15-year roof that's 30 years old. And Steve he's a retired contractor. He's actually a foreman for Habitat for Humanity, but he does gigs for people that he knows, and he always has workers in a checkered past. He has workers who other people wouldn't hire. People who've been in trouble. One man in particular, this is the Celtic part, is an Irishman named Squeaky. Well, he's Irish and American. Squeaky Callahan. Squeaky's one of those guys that what happens is he works really hard, incredible work ethic, just works and works and works, gets paid, goes down to the Twitching Monkey, has too much to drink, doesn't call the Uber, and gets in a fight and ends up mowing the cemetery in orange and white stripes, you know. And that's Squeaky. Everybody kind of knows Squeaky. Steve picks up Squeaky from the north entrance of the cemetery. Right next to that, there's a stone building about half the size of this stage. It's probably 160, 170 years old. And years ago, Squeaky had to get some stuff out of that building, and he just kept the key. And the deputy noticed that he kept the key, but everybody knows Squeaky, and they trust him. He gets in trouble, but he's honest. He's a special type. And after a while, Squeaky moved in a cot, and there's a little electric heater. There's one of those Coleman's solar showers in the back, which is just a black bag that picks up the heat of the sun. And then there's the Porto Johnny right outside. Squeaky lives there. Don't ask, don't tell. But Squeaky's working for Steve this week, and Marguerite was standing in front of her one-car garage. And she doesn't have a genie or anything. She has to hit the T-handle and push it over. And he walks up to her, and they've been working there a couple of days. There's a compressor inside and the ladders, and Squeaky looks at her and says, door. Marguerite pulled out her keys. She opened the door, and Squeaky just stood there. She lifted that door. She does it by hand. She figures when she can't open the door anymore, she ought not drive. And Sally Lynette was standing there and watching Squeaky, and she goes,
Did you see what that man said to you? Right in your face? And he didn't offer to help you or anything. I've never seen such a thing.
Marguerite said, yeah, but he does good work. And Marguerite likes to watch Squeaky work because everybody else uses the nail gun, but Squeaky doesn't. He has an octagonal handled hickory hammer on his old tool belt. You know, like the old tool belt. Guys, not like the impulse item tool belt that you got at Home Depot. This one's made out of baseball leather. It has the tape measure right here, the carpenter's codpiece. He's the kind of guy that climbs the ladder with no hands. He climbs up, and he reaches in, pulls out 3 roofing tacks, and punches them in, pop, 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 with his left fist, and he finishes them with a hammer. Ka, ka, ka. Pop, pop, pop. Ka, ka, ka. He's almost as fast as the nail gun, but it's so much more elegant. Marguerite said, let's go look at the house. Sally Lynette and Marguerite went into her house, the house her husband and she built when they got married. A 1-bathroom house with 2 bedrooms. Sally Lynette said,
It really needs more than 1 bathroom, Michelle. Nobody has just 1 bathroom anymore. When's the last time you updated this kitchen now?
Marguerite looked.
Well, the dishwasher hooks up to the sink, and I just put a new heating element, so it's good. And we got the refrigerator in 94, so that's new.
She's looking around her kitchen. Her kitchen works perfectly.
And that's it.
Sally Lynette produced a golf ball, put it on the floor. The golf ball mysteriously went under the refrigerator and returned. Sally Lynette's writing stuff down, sneering, judging Marguerite's perfectly fine little house. And finally went towards the bedrooms, turned left, and heard, whoa, 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 whoa.
Is that a dog?
Marguerite said,
Oh, it appears to be a dog.
Marguerite has a dog. Marguerite's dog's name is Marguerite. Marguerite had a friend named Joy down in South Georgia, old dear friend, and Joy's husband was an old man, and his dog had died, but he didn't want his last dog to be his last dog, so he gave his wife, Joy, a dog for her birthday. Following that, you know how some of those guys will do that? And he said, you can name the dog anything you want. And she named it after her friend Marguerite, and when Joy died, Marguerite got the dog. It was in the will. It's legally binding. And there's Marguerite the dog. Marguerite the dog's a good judge of character.
Sally Lynette, why don't you go on, Sally Lynette, going on to the garage. I'm going to take the dog out the back way.
And Marguerite, the lady, took Marguerite the dog out the back door and picked up the tennis ball and
Fetch.
the dog said, okay. Went and got the ball.
Put it down.
The dog put it down.
Fetch again. put it down.
And Marguerite the dog said, how long is that lady going to be here? If you have a dog, you know what your dog is saying, right?
Margaret said, it won't be long. You just stay in the backyard.
In the fence by myself?
Yes, you'll be all right.
Marguerite was slowly making her way to the garage. She didn't want to be there when Sally Lynette discovered what she discovered, and she heard,
Ah! What is this?
in the garage, there's the big tool cabinet, right? Where the chainsaw and the lawnmower is stored under that. It's about 2 feet. I mean, there's just barely enough room for the car, but it works. And then short of the back wall, 3 feet from the back wall, invisible from the street, visible from the garage, is one lone urinal. Sally Lynette's pointing at it.
Is that one of those French things?
Honey, that's Charles's urinal.
I've never seen such a thing. I can't sell this house with this here. You're going to have that removed.
Then Marguerite starts calculating in her mind how much it's going to cost to remove the urinal so she'll make more money after she's dead. Well, Sally Lynette went home. This is how my Uncle Charles came to having a urinal. I know you're curious. I was in the Newton County High School Blue Rambler Marching Band. I played tri-toms. Back when we had to carry them on, we didn't have some dad with a lawn tractor. No. And these things were made of a material called steel. It was an aluminum brace, and it fit me. This is back when I was skinny. It was aluminum. Thank you. And it landed right on my bladder. And we had the ultimate high school marching band gig. We were going to play an Atlanta Falcons football game. Yeah. Back when the halftime show was an acoustic act. Thank you. That's my favorite line too. And we were on the bus coming in from Covington, and it was almost an hour ride, and we're, drinking Cokes, and we're hanging out, and we're singing songs, and we're so excited. And we get there, old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. We go through this big truck entrance, and we get off the bus, and then we have to march. We just walk through this giant corridor that a truck could go through here, and they're incandescent light bulbs in little cages, so they can't get out. And we're making our way back, and I'm in the very back. This is back in the old days when the drummers were in the back, and I had to tinkle. I had to go big time. And my Uncle Charles is with me, Marguerite's husband. My cousin Francine's in the front. She plays piccolo. How hard can that be? And I said, Uncle Charles, I gotta go. I said, Andy, I don't know what to do. We just gotta follow. We're like lemmings. We just have to follow everybody. We can't get lost under the stadium. And finally, we see this strip of blue. And when you're in incandescent light, daylight looks blue. And we come, and we're in the Braves clubhouse. That's how we were going to enter the field, through the dugout. And we look, and we see lockers, Rico Cardi, Hank Aaron, Phil Necro. It was amazing. We were so excited. And somebody comes out and says, hurry up, 3 minutes to the 2-minute warning. And we come up through the dugout, and Uncle Charles looks and said, Andy, look at that. And there it was, a perpendicular wall to the bench. These are the old school dugouts now. The dugouts are a little more bougie. It's a perpendicular wall, visible from the bench, invisible unless there's a camera right there, and this is before the cameras were right there. It's a urinal. Uncle Charles says, Andy, look at that. Now, my Uncle Charles played baseball all through high school, and you don't play baseball all through high school or do any kind of sport like that unless you think maybe you could be a pro. And of course, my Uncle Charles never was. He was a high school principal. Andy, now's your chance. He looked up at me. Go, you've got to. I said, I can't do that. Andy, I'll never have a chance like this. Regret is bitter. And here I am in front of you in my middle 60s, and I'm here to tell you that it'll never be that good again. A few weeks later, they were tearing down another old gas station, and Uncle Charles saw this urinal in the rubble, and he talked to the contractor, said, can I have that? And the contractor said yes. So Uncle Charles plumbed it into his garage. It's beautiful. We've always used it, and there it is. And finally, everybody leaves. Steve, the contractors leave. It's time to walk Marguerite the dog. Now, Marguerite's house borders the cemetery. She has a walk-through gate that I had to put up for her, so she considers it hers. Did we ask permission from the city? Of course not. And of course, there are leash laws, but you know, Vizsla pointers, by the way, these are dogs that have to run. They just have to run. And Marguerite has ethics about the dog. She only allows the dog to go on a grave of somebody who wouldn't care, or maybe somebody who deserves it. And then after the dog does that business, she lets the dog go. She reaches down and goes, go, and the dog runs into the night. And this particular night, it was kind of cold. It was foggy. Visibility was probably 20 or 30 feet tops. And the dog will run and run. And Marguerite will go, and the dog will come and run around her legs and run again, and she'll go, and the dog will come back, run around her legs, and finally when she goes, that's when the dog has to go. Wait, stop, sit. Okay. And Marguerite, that kind of chilly, foggy night, reached down to put the leash back on the dog. She had her hand on the collar, and two ghosts in the cemetery ran and danced away from Marguerite, dancing just like this, bounding over tombstones. Marguerite has been in that cemetery every hour of the day her entire life, but she had never seen such a thing. And Marguerite the dog saw him too and gave chase, and going after those ghosts, and the ghosts disappeared in the mist, and the dog disappeared in the mist, and then the dog's heading towards the north part of the entrance, and Marguerite, the old lady, she had fallen to her knees when the dog took off. Her hand was on the collar, and she had fallen to her knees, and she started calling, Marguerite! Marguerite! And then she realized, if anybody saw her at 85 years old with wet knees screaming her own name, she might not be able to practice medicine anymore. Meanwhile, in his home, Squeaky heard, Marguerite, Marguerite. Marguerite, the lady, saw under that sodium vapor light a door open and a light emit from that stone building, that windowless building. She thought she saw a figure standing there with a cigarette. Meanwhile, Squeaky's looking towards the noise, and here come two white-tailed deer being chased by a dog. Was that lady's dog of the house where he's working? And he went, and the dog said, what? Sit. Okay. Stay. Don't think about it. And Squeaky went into the tool shed, and he uncoiled some rope, and he cut it with his knife, and he put it in a slip knot, and he put it around the dog's neck, and Marguerite, Marguerite. He didn't want to deal with that. So he walked out of the north entrance and turned right, heading east. And Marguerite saw them leave, and she couldn't run anymore. She's fit, but come on, people. So she slowly made her way back, heading south, and then to the eastern part of her fence, goes in and tied to the bumper of her 1968 Plymouth Fury. It's the last car my uncle gave her before he died, because he hasn't given her any cars since. Was her dog. The next morning, Steve arrived, Squeaky and everybody. As soon as they arrived, Marguerite unlocked the garage door, and Squeaky put the ladder up against the house and walked up the ladder. From the distance, she could hear the prisoners were approaching, and she was used to that in the cemetery. Sally Lynette arrived. The county appraiser arrived. I know there's a lot of fossil fuel being burned in this story. These 4 cars were now in the driveway, including Marguerite's. And Sally Lynette had her clipboard. She goes,
Honey, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is your taxes are going down.
and then there was a whistle at the fence. And there was a man in orange and white stripes standing at the fence. and he did this up at the roof. And Squeaky twirled his hammer, put it in the loop of his tool belt, came down the ladder facing out, no hands, walks down, went to the fence, produced a Marlboro, put it through the fence into the mouth of the man on the other side of the fence, that man in orange and white stripes, produced a cricket lighter, lit it. The man behind the fence nodded. Squeaky nodded. Squeaky made his way back to the ladder. But Marguerite stood in front of the ladder, so Squeaky couldn't go up until he actually looked her in the eye. And finally, he did. And when he did, Marguerite nodded. And Squeaky nodded. And Marguerite stood aside. Squeaky went up. Sally Lynette said,
Did you see what that man working on your roof at your home did with that prisoner at the fence? I've never seen such a thing.
Marguerite said,
I haven't either. Blessed are the merciful.
This is a song I made up for storytellers of all ilks. Tarry here, where the stories never grow old, and you hear something new every time they are told, and it comes clear. To tarry here, where it doesn't matter your age, and when we gather around the table, we all take the stage year after year. So tarry here, we're living now, and we're all in this place. So be sure to smile at each passing face as it draws near, and tarry here. And then we all will see the me and you, the you and me. And as we leave these grounds, we can rejoice in what we found. So tarry here with Catherine, Sid, Jackie, and Doc. And when we tell their tales, we stop the clock. I know they're here, they're tarrying here. And tarry here, where the stories never grow old, and you hear something new every time they are told, and it comes clear to tarry here. Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here. The BlarneyGirls will be here soon. Thank you. right. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome, please, the BlarneyGirls.
Thank you so much. Oh, God, it's great to be back here. This is great. How y'all doing? How's everybody? We just got back from Tennessee. They were so nice to us. It was just wonderful, wonderful time. But it sure is great to be back in Duluth. Well, this is a song from our new album that we haven't quite released yet, but it's coming along. It's coming along. Liz wrote this one. It's kind of a cool tune.
Come and call to the sisters of Blarney. We grant thee good tidings and harmony. Come gather as we present to thee stories and songs of the young and old. Stories and songs of young and old. There's a land to leave and be on my own way. Yes, I'll have to leave and be on my own way. Yes, I'll have to leave and be on my own way. Thank you very much. When you're in a Celtic band and you're writing songs and coming up with them, sometimes you have to turn your breakup song into a Celtic rock anthem. So I'm really glad you enjoyed that.
So this next one, we've become painfully aware in the songwriting business of people that are vastly superior to our skills. There's a fellow by the name of Colin Farrell, not the actor, but a famous Irish musician named Colin Farrell, who took it upon himself during the year of COVID to, I guess a New Year's resolution, to write a song or a tune a day. And so he did, and he published them on Facebook. I think they're still up there. Not on Facebook, excuse me, I'm sorry, YouTube. And this is one of the tunes that he wrote.
I think it's day 236.
I think it was day 325 or something.
Oh, it's such a big number.
Anyway, we're going to start up with that, and then we're going to go into something else.
Black is the color of my true love's hair. His lips are like some roses fair. He's the sweetest face and the daintiest of hands. I love the ground whereon he stands. I know my love as well he knows. I know the ground whereon he
This one's from our last album.
He's going to keep you guessing. Does anyone know which one this is? 7 years of minor and mine for 7 more. No greater man on earth now to move a mountain floor. So load us in the chippy, the truck's down every day. No greater man on earth, boy, no matter what they say. So tell God and the devil they can try, but today's not gonna be the day we die. Don't wanna see those helmet men come to carry you. The ground's so cold and hard above, they won't even bury you. So tap, tap, tap her lightly, as lightly as she goes. Oh, you better take some cover now and hide before she blows. Get those bricks and shovels off your back. Get the rocks into the box and down the tracks. And there's skinners and nippers on the drill. They work all day and night, boy, as only miners will. We'll chase rebellious copper, the walls you pick and hack. Don't worry if you're digging scared, us miners got your back. So tell God and the devil they can try, but today's not gonna be the day we die. Down here and the devil's lost your name. Your life hangs in the balance on this fragile human chain. And when your spirit's waning, the fear is yours to tame. When you fear the darkness, come and turn up your carbide flame. And tell God and the devil they can try, but today's not gonna be the day we die. So tell God and the devil they can try, but today's not gonna be the day we die. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a little God and the Devil. Another one of those songs that we loved. We borrowed and adopted into one of our own. All right, and up next we have another one of those. This was actually one of the first songs that I ever learned. So those of you that might not know, I know we have a live stream going. We actually started this group, the BlarneyGirls, about 15 years ago, right? That was what we decided.
Isn't that terrifying?
Only to you, apparently.
I know, so sorry.
Is it terrifying to you?
Yeah.
So we started about 15 years ago, and we only had a handful of songs, and this was one of them. And it's called The Silver Dagger. And I actually remember hearing the Dolly Parton version first. And that was what I fell in love with. Does anyone else out there love Dolly? We were in her neck of the woods not too long ago, just yesterday. It feels like forever ago, but it was just yesterday. If you have a free weekend, the island at Pigeon Forge, I'm going to go ahead and plug that there. it was absolutely incredible. And then right down the road is, of course, Dollywood. So we hope you enjoy this next one. Don't sing love songs, you'll wake my mother. She's sleeping here right by my side. In her right hand, a silver dagger. She says that I can't be your bride. All men are fools, so says my mother. They'll tell you again, love and lies, and then they'll go and court some other maid to love and wrong. My daddy is a handsome devil. He's got a chain 5 miles long, and on every link a heart does dangle of another maid he loved and wronged. Go court another tender maiden in hopes that she might be your wife. Oh, for I've been warned, and I've decided to sleep alone all of my life. Don't sing love songs, you'll wake my mother, and she's sleeping here right by my side. In her right hand, a silver dagger. She says that I can't be your bride. So go court another tender maiden in hopes that she might be your wife. All right, thank you, thank you. All right, I promise that was the last sad song. Promise. And the last,
Close to true.
it might be, the last sad song, or at least the last sad song talking about how men are horrible. I'm really sorry. I know they're not. Well, present company excluded. Let's go with that. All right, next up, Riva and Michael Michael's actually swapping out the guitar for the bass, which if you guys didn't know, Michael actually started as a 10-year-old guitar player, but then he morphed into a bass-playing hippie. I know you can't tell that by looking at him at all. I didn't realize you were wearing sunglasses until we got on stage. But there's not as much bass playing in Celtic music when you're too busy being the guitar and the percussion section all in one. But for this one, he gets to pull it out for you guys. So this is called The Captain.
I'd especially like to thank my friend Susan Goff. I don't know, Susan, are you here? Yes! Susan introduced me to another song, another tune by Hanneke Cassell, and that led us to this one called The Captain. Thank you, Susan.
That was so good.
I know, right?
I don't think I can follow that.
Me neither.
Oh, wait.
You're going over there now.
So I actually started as the vocalist in the group only. And then they said, you look a little weird just standing up there all the time while we're doing stuff like that, having fun. And so instead of just saying, could you not look weird on stage, they said, why don't you pick up an instrument? And then I picked up another one. This one's a little heavier, though.
Do the instruments keep us from looking weird? Is that the thing?
All right, this next one we have for you is actually our one and only COVID song that we did. We had done this one before, but we decided at the very tail end, it was actually a year ago, my dad texted me, just the 16th, and was like, can we do a song? Can we do one of these like virtual things that people are doing where like I send you a track and then you record and then she records and then can you put it together? And I said, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Okay, let's try. So we did, and we put it out at 10 p.m. on St. Patrick's Day. That was about as much reaction as it got at 10 o'clock at night. But we did really love the song, and I was determined to put it out on St. Patrick's Day.
You did it.
But we're really glad to do the full song now here today. So. If you're ready, sorry. Forgot, you've got a lot of different instruments over there.
Kind friends and companions together combine and raise up your voices in chorus with mine. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain, for we may and might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain, for we may and might never all meet here again. Here's the health to the wee lass that I love so well. Her smile and her beauty, there's none can excel. There's a smile on her countenance as I sit on his knee, for there's no one in this wide world as happy as me. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain, for we may and might never all meet here again. Our ship lies at harbor, she's ready to dock. I hope she's safe landed without shake or shock. And when we are sailing to the land of the free, I will always remember your kindness to me. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain, for we may and
you.
Oh, it's that time. They're actually going to let me sing one this year. Turn the children away. Make them turn their heads. So while we were preparing for this show tonight, we thought of these songs, and I think it turns out that it's the same girl that's involved with both songs. I think she first dated Steve Earle, and then she later, unfortunately, fell in with Ed Sheeran. Sing along if you know it. When I took a walk down the old long stroll on a day, had a little girl and I started to talk on a fine day. And I asked you, friend, what's a fellow to do? With her hair was black and her eyes were blue. And I knew right then I'd be taking a twirl down the Salt Hill Prom with a Galway girl. Way there when the rain came down, hey, and she took me up to her place downtown. Oh, I said, hey, and I ask you now, what would you do if her hair was black and her eyes were blue? And I knew right then I'd be giving my heart, yeah, I'd give my heart to a Galway girl. When I woke up, I was all alone. With a broken heart and a ticket home. And I ask you now, just what would you do if her hair was black and her eyes were blue? And I've been all around the world. I ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl. No, I ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl. Sure, I ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we're actually really going to get things heated up, though, and we're going to do a couple of a tune set here that I've never understood the name of ever. It's called "Trip to Pakistan." Can anyone explain that to me? Nope. Okay. Well, it sounds awesome, and that's really the most important part. All right. Well, if you didn't play it right if you didn't lose a couple bow hairs in the process.
First one of the evening. That's a miracle.
She's
Nice.
tearing it up.
All right, and yeah, absolutely. No. No, please.
How about it for my daughter Liz here? She's doing a spectacular job. You know, she's got a lot of her mom in her. You know, what can I say? And let's hear it for Reva, all the way from Salt Lake City. So this next song, I always mess up when I introduce this song, so I'll try to get through it without messing up. My friend Bruce Davies, who's a famous singer-songwriter guy in Scotland, has a son named, well...
Fred.
George, oh God. Rich, thank you. Rich Davies.
Russ.
And he's got a great band. Rich lives in Australia. He's got a great band. And he wrote this song. It's kind of like the flip side of the Loch Lomond story. And it's about the other guy. And, well, you'll see in the story.
Don't shed a tear, my love. I don't feel fear, my love. Though my death is near, my love. In a cell just south of the border, my Jacobite brother and a damn fine soldier will be released to be freed in the morning. And these four walls, my love, will deny me my last dawning. My friend is northward bound, but I'll be in Scotland before him, because I'm going home. I'm going home. So don't weep, my bonny lassie. Ever on this earth to can the kiss of your lips again by those bonny banks, that hallowed ground of my homeland. This faithful song of love will be delivered to you, my love, defiantly clear, my love, from a cell just south of the border, because I'm going home. I'm going home from a cell just south of the border, because I'm going home. I'm going home. So don't weep, my bonny lassie. The spirit of a lover, my young Bonnie's murder. Oh, I'm coming home to you. I'll travel on the low road, so don't shed a tear, my love. And don't feel fear, my love, for as I sing to you, my love, my soul is over the border. Oh, because I'm home. Oh, yes, I am home. My soul is over the border. Oh, yes, I am home. Yes, I am home. So don't weep, my bonny lassie.
And now we have a special part of the show where we invite you, the audience, to join us on this Irish favorite Irish song. Oh God, I can't even talk. Has anybody like partied out for St. Paddy's Day yesterday? I mean, like seriously hungover tonight? No, only kidding, only kidding. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Liz now.
All right. Well, this next one we have for you does have some crowd participation. Now, have any of you traveled to good old Ireland yet? Yes, a few? So, okay, yes, I see this. So, if you frequent the pubs in Ireland, so I've been told, I have not gone yet. I'm not upset about it. But what I have heard is that in the pubs, they will play this song. And this song is, of course, there's lots of crowd participation and drinking involved. So I see some of you have beverages. So if you would like to participate, you absolutely can, and you should. It's fun. So on the choruses go like this. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I tell you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. So you do just what Reva did. You clap during the chorus, and then you stop as soon as the chorus is over. If you are still clapping after the chorus, you must down your beverage. I know, I see my niece out there doing the same thing. But I believe that was a non-alcoholic beverage. It's okay. However, see, I don't know if I'm doing any better than you are. Anyways, so if you're still clapping after, then you down your drink, or if you'd like, you can buy the band around. We're okay with that as well. All right, so we're going to tell you the night of Tim Finnegan's wake. I hope you guys enjoy the tale. Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, a wee bit odd. Now he had a brogue, both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a heart. Now Tim had a sort of the tippler's way, for the love of the liquor poor Tim was born, and to help him on with his work each day, to drop of the crater every morn. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. We'll just give a little bit of shame over there. It's okay. All right, now one morning Tim felt rather full. His head was heavy, which made him shake, and he fell from the ladder and cracked his skull. And they carried him home, his corpse to wake. Now they rolled him up in a nice clean sheet, and they laid him out upon the bed, with a gallon of whiskey at his feet and a barrel of porter at his head. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Sorry, that was mean. Now his friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch.
Thank you. That was Susan.
Now first she brought in tea and cakes, then pipes, tobacco, and whiskey punch. Then Biddy O'Connor took up the cry. Such a nice clean corpse here, did you see? Tim of Arden, why'd you die? Shut your gaps and Patty McGee. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. I thought that was what you wanted. Then Biddy O'Connell took up the cry. Oh, Biddy, she says, you're wrong, I'm sure. But then she gave her a belt in the gob, and left her sprawling on the floor. Now then the war did soon engage. 'Twas woman to woman and man to man. And shillelagh was all the rage, and a row and erection soon began. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake.
Oh, my God.
Then Mickey Maloney ducked his head as a barrel of whiskey flew at him. Now it fell, and falling on the bed, the liquor scattered over Tim. This is a reenactment of how it actually happened. Now the corpse revives, see how she rises. Tim Finnegan rising from the bed, saying, throwing whiskey around like blazes, ton 'em in jays, does he think I'm dead? Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Whack for the darno, dance to your partner, whirl the floor, your trotter shake. Admit the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. All right, you guys were great. You're going to do fabulous in Scotland, I promise. Ireland, oh man. You can tell you've been doing too many Scottish festivals, and then it just comes out. My apologies. Oh, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say it's a Doogie McLean song next.
This one's called Garden Valley.
This is really not my home. Oh, where are you, my lovely Johnny? I'm afraid and all alone. There's no peace for me. I'm sitting in the stranger's room. I'm playing at the stranger's table, shining empty like the moon. There's no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out across the bay, distant and so far away. There's no peace for me. I'm blinded by our city lights. I wander through these fearful places. The colors fade from black and white. There's no peace for me. These are not the friends I know. These are not their smiling faces. A desert that no one should know. There's no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out across the bay, distant and so far away. There's no peace for me. Now I know and feel it well. Poor immigrant, deep sunken feeling, standing at the gates of hell. There's no peace for me. Burned out by their master's greed, cruel exile, transportation, robbed of every love and need. There's no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out across the bay, distant and so far away. There's no peace for me. There's no peace for me.
All right, thank you guys so much. You've been such a fabulous audience. Give yourselves a round of a hand. You guys have been wonderful. And can we give a round of applause really quickly to our tech crew that we have in the back? We have Shalom and Corey.
The best sound man in the business, hands down. There you go.
Yes, and next we're going to give up our hand to Andy, who's going to join us on stage for our final number. He might make a dramatic entrance.
I hear him. He's coming. He's coming. He'll be here any minute.
Let's hear it for Andy, everyone. next one is one of our favorites to close out the night. It's called Wild Mountain Time. If you know the words, please feel free to sing along.
Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go? Well, I will build my love a bower by yon crystal fountain, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. So will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go? Well, if my true love won't have me, well, I will surely find another, and the wild mountain thyme will grow around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go? All together now. And we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go? One more time. And we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. So will you go, lassie, go?
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. We've been the Blarney Girls. Have a wonderful night.
can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days. I've been afraid that I might drift away. And I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I've come from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today. So let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Oh, Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad, 'cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I have moved and I've kept on moving. I proved the points that I needed proving. I lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. Well, now I've kissed the fellas and left them crying. I've stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've traveled hard, sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. So let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Oh, Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad, 'cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here before the fire, the